These were made with exactly the same pattern and the same yarn. So why do they look so different? If your amigurumi stitches are inconsistent, too tight, or full of weird gaps, you are not alone. We definitely don't want our amigurumi to look like they were crocheted by 5 different people in each round. Tension is the foundation of crochet. Once you master it, your amigurumi will look way more professional, your stitches will be consistent, and your project will end up looking exactly the way that you want it. So today, I'm breaking down 5 do's and don'ts that will help you achieve a perfect crochet tension so you have perfect stitches every time. If you're new here in the channel, I am Bianca from Crocheniacs, and if you want to learn how to crochet amigurumi from scratch, or if just like me, you love everything amigurumi related, then this is the right channel for you. And the first do, start with a medium to thick yarn. Believe me, the right yarn makes all the difference in this process of practicing your crochet tension. If you're just starting out, go for a medium-sized yarn, because a bit thicker yarn will help you see what is really happening in your amigurumi project, and they are a bit easier to manipulate than a very thin yarn.
Interesting. Very interesting.
But why did I say medium? Because a very thick yarn will also be quite challenging for you in the beginning to hold everything in your hands, the crochet hook, a bigger crochet hook, and also to wrap the yarn in your non-dominant hand. And with regards to the fiber that you're going to choose, polyester fiber is good. They are usually a bit thicker, and they tend to be more forgiving when it comes to tension, because since you cannot see the stitches so well, they do not have such good stitch definition, they tend to be forgiving if your tension is not consistent. But if you want to practice and see what you're actually doing and keep them consistent, a cotton yarn or a cotton blend is the best way to go here. While this was our first do, the first don't is follow exactly the crochet hook recommended in the label. We constantly say that when crocheting amigurumi, you should size down the crochet hook recommended in the label in order to avoid gaps. But actually, if you size down too much, you end up having a sore hand from forcing your hook into tight stitches. And honestly, tight stitches can leave gaps between stitches too.
Believe me, they can.
So it's really important to experiment and find your own balance. For example, this yarn here, which is Amigurumi from Círculo, they recommend a crochet hook from 2 to 4 millimeter. And whenever I crochet with this yarn, I use a 2.5 millimeter crochet hook size or a 2.2, but 2.2 starts to hurt my wrists a little bit. 2.5 is like the best crochet hook size for this yarn and my crochet tension. But I have a friend that works with a 3.5 millimeter crochet hook size and her stitches are perfect. If I crochet with a 3.5, I will leave huge gaps between stitches. But because of her crochet tension, for her, this is the perfect size to go. And I also know a girl, and she told me that she was crocheting with a 1.8 millimeter crochet hook size with this yarn. I cannot even imagine. Just imagining it, I start to feel some pain in my wrists. Because for me, 1.8 millimeter crochet hook size for this yarn is too small. But she told me she doesn't feel any pain, her stitches are beautiful, so you see that it all depends on the way that you crochet. So whenever you grab a new yarn brand to start crocheting, experiment and test. Don't go exactly with the same crochet hook that is recommended in the label, but also don't go with the crochet hook that was recommended from any other person like me, for example, because your crochet tension might be different. The way that you hold your crochet hook might be so different than the way that I do that it influences the size of the crochet hook that you choose as well.
You got it, dude.
The second do, use a simple repetitive pattern. When practicing crochet tension, your pattern should not be a challenge because you're already paying attention in so many details that the pattern should not be the challenge in question. Your focus should be on keeping your stitches consistent. So choose a simple amigurumi ball or toys that do not demand different techniques or color changes, for example. The second don't, ignore your posture. Your body affects your crochet. I know it seems unrelated, but believe me, it really matters. Because if you hunch over or sit down in a relaxed, very relaxed and awkward position, or you keep your shoulders too tight, your hands will be tense and your tension will suffer. You don't need to have a fancy ergonomic chair. No, no, no. Keep it simple. Just sit comfortable, relax your shoulders, don't keep them so high. Try to raise down your project a little bit with a pillow, for example, or put your hands on a table if it's comfortable for you, so you crochet like this, because if we crochet for hours with our neck down like this, it starts to hurt as well, and it's not good. I've done it myself. And also start to observe the position that you crochet and how much it affects the way that you crochet and the stitches. Because, for example, I talked about it in all the videos. Whenever we sit in the couch, me and my husband, I need to sit on the left. If I sit on the right, my stitches are not good. I realized that every time I sit on the right side of the couch, I keep my right shoulder up and I start to feel a lot of pain. And whenever I sit on the left, I relax my body. I don't know why I do that, but it's something that I observed about the way that I crochet in regards to my posture. And these are the kind of things that we need to be mindful when we are practicing our crochet tension. Do number 3, take it slow. When talking about practicing your crochet tension, rushing can be a total disaster. I get you. We want to finish the project as soon as possible. We want to have our crochet tension beautiful as soon as possible so we can jump to the next project. But that's not how things work. Think of it like handwriting. Whenever I am relaxed at home writing, and I love writing just out of curiosity, I did calligraphy, artistic calligraphy for a while in my life, and I love writing. But if I sit comfortably, I have a beautiful handwriting. And since I did the artistic calligraphy course and I did artistic calligraphy for a while in my life, whenever I write with a feather, my handwriting is so beautiful. It's very artistic. But if I have to do it fast, regardless if I'm using a feather or a regular pen, my handwriting will not be good and you won't be able to understand what I wrote because it will be messy. The same things work with crochet. Don't try to rush it. And very related to our do number 3, we have our don't number 3, which is overwork your hands. You all know that I crochet for a long time and it's been over a decade already, but even now that my stitches, they are very consistent. And even when I am tired, nowadays they don't change that much. It used to change when I started, but now they are, I feel like they're so consistent that they don't change that much. But if I start crocheting for hours straight without pausing, without resting, they will change. And I see that my stitches start to lean to the side, for example, which is not common in my amigurumi. So whenever I see that they are leaning to the side or that they are not even, I stop. I know it's time to stop. And before we go to our do's and don'ts number 4, remember to subscribe to the channel and give me a thumbs up on this video so you don't miss any new tutorials, tips and tricks, videos, do's and don'ts that I bring here every week. And if you'd like to have even more tips from me and hear my advice on amigurumi, get some amazing amigurumi patterns and learn even more from me, you can also subscribe to my Patreon community, which is a place for amigurumi lovers and crochet maniacs just like you. So now getting back to our do number 4, control your yarn flow. Every person has a different way to wrap their yarn in their hands. Well, I'm a right-handed person and my non-dominant hand is my left one. So this is the hand that I usually wrap the yarn, and it might change for you, of course. But the thing is that every person has a different way to wrap the yarn in their non-dominant hand. And that's why I'm not going to show you like the proper way, because there is no proper way. You can do it however you want. But while you're crocheting, paying attention on the stitch, your posture, and concentrating in every stitch to get it to the perfect crochet tension that you want to achieve, it's very important that the yarn does not get tangled all the time, because then you lose the way that you wrap the yarn in your hands and you have to organize it all over again, and then your crochet tension might change. Something that I like doing so it doesn't happen is I usually take the yarn from the inside of the skein. This one, for example, is the France cotton from Hobby, the 8/4 mercerized version, which I really like. If I take the yarn from the outside, the skein will keep rolling on the floor, in the couch, whatever. But if I take the yarn from the inside of the skein, I can simply leave it like this in my hand, in the table, or even on the floor. It won't roll. I simply pull the thread and it comes smoothly, you see? While if I take the one, let me show you. Here, the yarn keeps moving. And that's definitely not what we want when we are practicing our crochet tension. And our don't number 4 is stress too much about perfection. Tension is a skill, it's not magic. And it requires patience. I know in this fast-paced world that we live nowadays, people are getting more impatient day after day, maybe because of the internet, social media, and the amount of information that we have access all the time. But we need to be patient. It's like riding a bicycle or learning how to play an instrument. Well, if you take the lyrics of a song, although you have the lyrics there and you have your guitar, it doesn't mean that just by practicing once or twice, you'll play exactly like the original guitar player that created that song. It will take years for you to get to this point. With crochet, it's exactly the same. I am not saying that it will take years for you, but for some people it might be faster than for others, but it demands practice and patience. And the last thing that I want to share with you, the tip number 5. I don't have a don't for number 5, just a do. And it's really important. Find your natural grip. I have already given you a spoiler before about this topic, but as I said, everyone holds their yarn differently, and there is no right or wrong. Sometimes I get mad when people try to say, oh, this is right and this is wrong, because there is no crochet police here. There is no like, oh, you should do this, you should do that. Some things is more like a matter of experimenting. And at least for me, of course, all the things that I mentioned in today's video, they are really important when it comes to crochet tension. And if you change one of those pieces in the puzzle, it will make a difference, because, for example, you may do all the tips that I gave you today, but you choose the wrong crochet hook, and then it will affect the final result of your amigurumi, or I don't know, the crochet project that you have in your hands. But the most important thing is that the way you choose to hold the yarn in your hands feels comfortable. It feels comfortable, it feels natural, and it doesn't cause any pain for you to do it that way. I have seen people saying that doing the knife grip hurts their wrists. And if it does, don't do that. Change to the pencil grip, for example. For me, I hold the crochet hook with the pencil grip, but whenever I am crocheting with a very thick yarn, I cannot do the pencil. I have to change to the knife grip. And these are things that no one taught me. I have to experiment and find out what works for me. But I would love to know, what's your biggest tension struggle? You all know I'm a teacher and I love to teach. This is in my veins. And I want to create content that will be very helpful and useful for you. So please let me know in the comments. I would love to keep chatting with you guys and learn what are your struggles when it comes to crochet tension, so I can try to think of other tips, tricks, do's and don'ts that I can bring to you. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll leave you this video here because I'm sure you'll like it too.